Okay, I just started up the game and I don't know what's going on. Hang on. Before we get started, can I just say something? Thank you for actually setting the clock both times you booted up the game. A lot of people don't take that step seriously, then just leave the clock set at 12 o'clock and call it a day. But you're actually taking the time to set the clock, and I appreciate that. That's how I know that you care about this experience. You're paying attention. I don't even have any way of knowing if the times you're setting are correct. I waited until the very on the dot minute. Tell you what, I'll make you a deal. Since you've been so cooperative, next time you boot up the game and see the screen, just set the clock to your favorite time. Go ahead, pick whichever time you want. Even if it's not the correct time, you've earned it. Alright, let you get back to the video game now. I don't need the intro sequence. Welcome back. Quit the game and then start it again. Okay. I feel like I'm a lot faster this time around. But like a lot more floaty. Strange. Okay, so like I've gotten quite a few endings in the first session, but there's other endings that I haven't gotten yet, so I want to try to get some. So the first ending I want to get
All of his co-workers were gone.
is the out
What
of
could it
map
mean?
ending.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
I think I need to get on top of this computer. I could be wrong. Yeah, there we go. There we go.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we
Yeah.
take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
No, actually.
Then in that case, we'll continue. But now, here comes the real question. What do you think would have happened if you had told me that you wanted this to stop? Do you think it would have been particularly different? Would I have taken the same idea but rephrased it superficially to fit that answer?
Maybe.
Perhaps you never would even have thought of it if I hadn't brought up the issue in the first place. Oh, now think about it. Will it be worth it for you to restart and then come back here just to do the other
Maybe.
option? Clearly, this whole gag takes some time. What if the other option is even longer? How
I
long
don't
will you
know.
spend in total just to have heard all the narration? Oh, and this is rich. Perhaps you've just played the other option, and now you've come to see what happens in this one. So, what do you think? Which choice was the better one? Imagine if you had selected Continue on your first playthrough, how tantalizing it would be not knowing what happens when you pick the other option. Indeed, you are one of the lucky ones. Though if the other option is really miserable to listen to, then perhaps you're not. In fact, I'm just going to say that no one who's listening to this is lucky.
Aw.
Well now, I've built up the other option so much that I'm going to stop talking and leave you to your decision whether to come back here, continue with the game, or just sit in this spot forever and ever. Cheers.
Okay, so then what? So do I have to quit the game or does he come back and like restart it? I'm not entirely sure. I don't know. I think I actually have to begin the game again. But I am curious on what the other one is.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Gonna say the same thing?
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map
Yeah.
until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet? Well, I don't know how to say this politely, but you could literally just hit escape and restart the game any old time you want, like right now. You could have done it just then. Now would also be an appropriate time to quit. Any of these points and so many, many more, all of them are appropriate. I'm enjoying what seems to be an internal conflict going on where you are literally unable to act on your own desires to restart the game. So, just to push the envelope, I'm going to try and make this as miserable as possible and see how long you can maintain.
I can sit here all day.
There once was a man named Stanley, who people considered so manly. But the truth must be told, he was not very old and was quite particularly gangly. What Stanley liked most was buttons. He pushed them like some kind of glutton. He did it all day in a meaningful way, but his brain had long ceased to function.
Wow.
Which is why he is in this parable and lives an existence quite terrible. And if you are not strong and keep playing along, you too will become quite unbearable. You too will become quite unbearable.
Amazing. Is this just gonna loop? I think it just loops. But I'm not entirely sure. Okay. Alrighty then. I think it just loops.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the
I'm really
meeting room.
hoping...
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
I'm really hoping that the, like, my progress wasn't, like, reset or something, because that would be... Oh, here. There's a door.
Oh, good. You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Okay. Into the darkness we go. Oh, we're going back up there? I thought you said you didn't like this section
You
of
see,
the
Stanley,
game.
I've been reflecting on the Stanley parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
Oh, wow. Nice logo.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
There's like other endings back in the other one. Did I miss out on those? I hope not. Doesn't look like there's anything here. Investor Showcase.
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? but the Stanley Parable 2. Now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
Off painting K. Off painting D. Then empty space. They're back. 2 doors. This logo ideas. Well, that third one is the same one as the beginner's guide, I believe, but I could be wrong. Thanks for attending my meeting. I like that one. That one's nice. Oh, I can't actually switch them. Disappointing.
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
It'd be good. Ah, I see.
Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
Okay. Exclusive. The button that says the name of the player that is playing the game. That would be awesome. Hear your name in the game.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want?
Too
And
big,
of course,
too
the
small,
first and most
just
obvious
right.
answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
Why do I have a feeling this isn't gonna work?
Jim.
Sorry, I should have clarified.
That's actually
Right
creepy
now,
because
the button only says the name
my name is
Jim.
technically
But
Jim.
of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim, sleeping and waking as Jim, falling in love and being heartbroken as Jim, seizing all of the world's possibilities as Jim, and as Jim watching your dreams crumble into dust. Do you feel it deeply? Are you really, truly Jim right now? If so, then please step forward and press the button.
Jim.
Yes, you see? What a thrill, what a rush.
Looks like
That was
you're going to
you.
the shadow
The
realm,
button described
Jimbo.
you. Do it again, do it again.
Jim.
It hits even harder the second time. If this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the
It
money.
would.
Let's take a break from the Jim button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal validation.
Okay. No.
Jim.
Whoa there, cowboy. Sometimes a person can be too much, Jim.
Yeah, I know.
I'm putting the Jim button away. Otherwise, soon you'll start to
Jim,
lose all
Jim,
sense of who
Jim,
you actually
Jim.
are.
Jim.
No. Now I can't be who I am. I'm sad. What about these buttons? Buttons don't work? No? Okay. I'm sad now. That was the greatest experience of my life. You heard Jim in the
I suppose
game.
I could allow only people named Jim to play the Stanley Parable 2. That would actually save me the work of finishing this feature.
Yes! I agree with that. Jim forever. I'm technically named Jim. Technically.
An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, yes, it will go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
I didn't realize I was going to the epilogue. The reassurance bucket. Apparently that's actually really important. I'll go there later. Settings World Champion. Oh, I need to actually go into the settings and like turn them all on, I think. But I could be wrong. I don't exactly know how to do that though. How do I actually do this? Like, there's an achievement called like Settings World Champion, but I'm not entirely sure on how to actually get it. To get the Settings World Champion, you need to... Thank you for pushing it down. You need to go through each of the sliders point by point in the settings menu. This means not simply holding down the control stick, as it will start to skip individual numbers. So use the D-pad. Okay, I'm not using a controller. You will need to select Show Subtitles or Slow Translation Labels to cause new sliders for subtitle opacity to appear. Okay. Okay. So, general settings and audio settings. Okay. Oh. Okay, then audio. Okay, so now what? Different language modes. I'm confused. Because all of those are that way. Do I need to... It is an achievement that you get just for changing several of the settings sliders. Okay. I'm confused on how this actually works. Okay. Field of view. Camera sensitivity. I don't understand how this works. I don't understand how this works. Okay, I'm just gonna reset the settings. I don't know how to get into this door. Oh god. Turn that off. I really don't. I don't know how to get into that door. But anyways. Giant statue over there. New content, the jump circle.
You know what? Let's bring the
Got that the subtitles weren't on.
jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's a... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle?
Yep.
Oh, well. I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece, then.
Aw, man. The giant statue of Stanley. I want to go get the bucket. The reassurance bucket. Oh, merch store. The end is never the end. Stanley Parable 2. I saw the new content, and all I got was this lousy t-shirt. New features, new content, new game. Welcome to the showcase, too. Welcome to the game. The compendium. I don't know how to get into that
A
door.
common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I am happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps
Give me the bucket.
even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try.
Thank you.
Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
Thank you.
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game?
Me.
That really should be an award if it isn't already.
Okay, collectibles. Apparently there's 5 collectibles around the game that you need to collect for a certain ending. I don't exactly know where they are. I have somewhat of an idea. I read a guide or something, but I'm not entirely sure where they could be. Okay, there's a free achievement down this way. Free achievement. Get yours right here. Pull the lever, receive your new achievement. No more steps. It just works. Get yours right now. Okay, Todd.
Now here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it... Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
Give the achievement. I want the achievement. Give it to me. Okay. Get in these doors? No? Okay. Thanks a lot, narrator. For nothing.
What else? What other
Infinite
exhibits
hole.
haven't we seen yet?
What's in here? Please, no screenshots.
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
Happy 12th birthday, stepniece.
You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Get Well Someday it is.
How rude.
Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision. We're moving on.
Okay, now I'm back out here. Okay, so let's go into the infinite hole. What goes on there? Just keeps going. Going.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is, in fact, a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium. You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward.
I'll sit here for a minute, because I know there's a bottom.
Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
No. You made this hole. I'm going to get all the way down to the bottom. There has to be at the bottom.
Stanley, I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole. Is it a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole.
You're right.
I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a... Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. What normal person actually wants to fall infinitely? I figured the hole was as deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem. Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite? If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready. Great. Now, I'm very... Oh, for heaven... You see, I was right. The problem is you. The problem is that you like holes too much. Not normal. A normal person would have said, yep,
I love
that's an
holes.
infinite hole
Holes
right
are
there.
my
Goes
favorite.
on forever till the end of time. Don't need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no, 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 no. You have a weird sort of... Oh. Did the hole seem even shorter to you this time?
Yes.
I couldn't help but feel like you spent a little less time in there than you did before. I mean, admittedly, I didn't make an infinite hole, but I didn't think it was that not infinite. Well, I suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above. Had enough? I'm positively thrilled. Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this starts to become a thing where... Wow.
They're getting shorter and shorter.
Yes. I'm starting to become extremely certain that the hole is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less infinite. I suspect that I'm starting to hit the point where it's no longer feasible to call the hole infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability and marketing. What's going on here? Stanley, I have no explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length. Here, let's try something. Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter. Well, there it is. How is this still appealing to you? I know you're obsessed with holes,
I am.
but at this depth, I just can't see this scratching the itch. Oh, who am I to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on. Is the, teleport button not working? You sure? Well, I mean, I really don't have an explanation. It was working just a moment ago. Try it again.
Oh.
Still nothing? Well, I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix this. I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley. You couldn't bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll get more time with it than you could ever have asked for. It's a win for everyone.
Yes.
You get to be with the hole, I get to do literally anything else. Take care, Stanley.
Goodbye,
I hope you
narrator.
and the hole have a wonderful rest of eternity together.
Well, at least I have my bucket friend. Okay, horror noises. Something's gotta happen. We're going down! Goodbye, world. This is amazing. This is the best ending so far. Well, that's not true. The Boom Closet ending is my favorite, but this one's still pretty cool. Change your perspective. Oh, yeah. Holy shit. Oh, wow. Detailed. Perception. Oh, yeah. Oh, I don't like that one. This is amazing. Oh, I don't like that one. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. Self. There, now we're back at the beginning. I like this version a lot. It's like the cartoon-esque type version.
Stanley? Stanley? Stanley!
What?
Oh, good, you're awake. It seems you had sort of dozed off there, drifting away into dreamland. But we can't
Aw.
have that, Stanley, because this hole is just so darn fascinating that I want you to be wide awake for every second.
That was
of it. You
amazing.
don't want to miss a single moment. So how about if I just pop in from time to time and wake you up to keep you really, truly focused on the hole? From the looks of things, you and I will have many, many years here in this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them. Stay alert, Stanley. I'll be back. Toodlepip.
Okay, I think that's the end of that. Oh, are we going back down? Oh no, that's just the end. Ah. Okay.
Here we are. Go on. Try out some of the new features.
Okay. Can I go back to the infinite hole? I wonder. Maybe it's all blocked off now. That was like the most like amazing ending so far. Oh, it's blocked off. Dang it. Okay. Well, that's ending number 1. There's also... I can't actually get through there. Can you find them? Yeah, there's collectibles everywhere.
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
The hell is this? 1 of 6. Okay, that was
God, it
strange.
really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
I don't see the problem, but okay. Okay, this is an exit of some sort.
All right, have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now?
I think that was everything, but I'm not entirely sure.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay, are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2.
Okay.
Well, I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on, let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2.
That seems worse.
Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't
there's
a
2
coherent
holes.
video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2." Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
I like it. Like it a lot. Here's like an updated look to it.
This-
Okay. Oh, I don't have the bucket. God dang it.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Get well
What could it
someday.
mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh, there's the bucket.
Stanley picked up the bucket.
Apparently there's something different
Stanley
that...
clung the bucket to his cheek.
Apparently
his
there's something that
co-workers really
changes
all
with
be
this
gone.
ending, so...
Yes, whispered the bucket into Stanley's ear.
We've done it. We've escaped from that dull office and that pesky narrator. At last, out here in the white void, we are alone. Now, and for the first time, I can reveal to you my true self.
The bucket began to tell Stanley of its life and its history, of the countless wars it witnessed, desecrating the land and lives of untold numbers of innocent humans. and the bucket's own complicity therein, of sadness and regret, and the many years it spent dwelling on the actions it might have taken to curb the madness and the decay, if only it had been stronger, of hope and redemption, and its crusade to uplift the stock of life for the common man, to manifest justice where none existed, and the bittersweet reality of time, to see one's dreams and wishes met halfway, meted out in parcels like charity, and abandoned as soon as the warm glow of inspiration begins to dim. The opportunities to do so much more. There was so much it could have done, perhaps, the bucket wondered to itself. Perhaps, if it had seen its own darkness with a clearer perception. This was way too much for Stanley.
What are you talking about?
He screamed.
You're a bucket!
To this, the bucket furrowed its brow.
No,
Said the bucket.
not since the evil wizard Gambhorata
What the hell
first
is
ensnared
happening?
me in his machinations as payback for the sacred amulet I stole from his treasured vaults. I was young back then and could not conceive the ramifications of... No!
Stanley screamed even louder this time.
This is stupid! You are a bucket! This is so stupid! Why are we even doing this?
As Stanley screamed and screamed
the
and
hell is
screamed,
happening?
the bucket revealed its true form, transforming into a mighty beast of untold power, its fangs glistening like... My God, Stanley, you did it. You saved us from the bucket. Thank God you already had all 12 emblems of sages and knew the incantations to summon their true power. Otherwise, we would have easily been overwhelmed by the bucket's power. I'm speechless.
But there's
You've
other
demonstrated
bucket
such
endings.
bravery here today. Come, let's restart the game, and we'll agree to never again go trifling with this bucket, nor the dark magic cast away inside of it.
No, I refuse. There's other bucket endings.
All of his co-workers were gone. What
That was
could it mean?
interesting.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him.
Okay. So I need to get to the escape pod. But how do I get that though? I don't know. Thank you, Paige, for just trying to break on me. I don't know what's happening. No. Do I have internet? It just decides to break on me for no reason. Thank you. Escape pod ending. Taking the left door, going up to the stairs leads to the boss's office, but the player needs to briefly enter before backing out. Okay. I think I can do that.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd... Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Apparently there was something in this bathroom as well.
You found one
Yeah.
of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
Okay. So I need to go into this office and then immediately go back out.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned.
There we go. Okay. If done correctly, the double doors will now close permanently, leaving Stanley outside of the office along with the narrator's dialogue disappearing. Now, all the player has to do is backtrack all the way to room 427 and head through the newly opened office door. Why did all the doors reopen is my question. 427. That's my office, right? That door is closed though. Here. Okay. Now regarding the bucket, I'm not entirely sure what I need to do with this. Let me actually check to see what this entails because I'm not entirely sure. So I need the bucket. Okay. Once those news pads have been reached, okay. Okay. 428 is now open. Heading inside will transport the player to a stairwell that leads up 6 floors. Okay. You are now leaving. I don't exactly know if I'm doing this correctly or not. I started at what, 7:54? I think. 7:58, so 2 more. I think. 1 more floor, I think. There we go. Escape pod launch bay. Very dark. Okay. Oh, it's a cutscene. I didn't realize. Oh. So sad. No, bucket. Godspeed, bucket. Godspeed. Righty then. That was a rather sad ending. So... Gotta hate game rant sometimes. Page never loads. Okay, I want to go...
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
The bucket's gone. Sad. I didn't realize the bucket was gonna be just gone. Sad now. Well, I need to get back to the boss's office anyways because there's an achievement.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
An achievement to get. There will be a reward for finding them all. How can we find them? Trust the completionist instinct. Okay, this is interesting. How do I actually get them all is my question. I'm not entirely sure. How to start it, okay, blah blah blah. Okay. It's in the cargo room, which means I've already missed it. Heading to the staircase. If done in the following order, all 3 can be collected in one playthrough. Okay, so this should be easy. Figure 3 can be collected by heading down the stairs. Okay, so I need to go this way. Headed down the stairs.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his
At
boss's
the bottom,
office.
turn around and look underneath the staircase. Here.
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands? Stanley figs? Or what about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
Okay. So now I need to go back up the stairs. Like, down the stairs is another ending, but I'll get that later. Okay, but it said it's best to get figure 6 before figure 5 due to the 6th figure being locked away once figure 5 is grabbed. The 6th figure is found by going left instead of right at the top of the stairs and enter. Okay. To the boss's office and unlock the secret passageway hidden behind the fireplace. The code to do so given by the narrator in dialogue. Once it unlocks, an elevator with a big red button can be selected. Instead of getting in, the 6th figure would be on the dead-end path to the right. Clearly lit.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Here.
Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
I don't know. Okay.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Really? It
The
doesn't
door
seem like
behind
there's
him was
anything.
not shut. Stanley
Down
still
here.
had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Nah.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
That has to kill your feet.
As the machine whirred into motion and
God.
Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like
me outta
plucking
here.
the eyeballs from a
Let me
blind
out.
man.
Get me over there.
And so he resigned and willingly accepted
No,
this
no, no, no,
violent
no, no,
end
no,
to
no,
his
no, no,
brief
no.
and shallow life.
No, 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 no,
Farewell,
no. Let me out of
Stanley.
here. Let me out of here. Get me out. No. No.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator,
What the
as
hell?
Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
No.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Like a purgatory. Okay. So it seems like there's some like witty text to read. Corridor. The pacing of this opening section was important to get right. This corridor has been moved and altered to make sure the player reaches the two doors in a good time. Interesting. The office layout. This blueprint shows the office from the beginning of the game. The path from Stanley's office to the two doors was the first part of the game that was built. Sections have been added and altered throughout development through the core layout, though the core layout remains almost identical to the first iteration. Okay. Nature paintings. Cool. The office. Okay. Desk. The two doors. The set of the two open doors was the very first concrete piece of the Stanley Parable's design. Once this room was created, the rest of the game emerged as an extension of it, an exploration of the contradiction the room posed. Alrighty then. Office computers. Like solitaire, like really old solitaire that came with the computer. The button sounds. A selection of the sounds used throughout the game when buttons are pressed. Each sound is a mix of a keyboard stroke and a synthesized tone. Interesting. Okay. Maintenance room. An early version of the maintenance room. Okay. Ultra Deluxe announcements. In December 2018, we announced the Ultra Deluxe version of the Stanley Parable at the Game Awards. These are screenshots of the videos we made for the announcement and the game's delay. I didn't realize it was announced at the Game Awards. Warzone. Early in development, we designed an ending where Stanley would end up on a battlefield fighting aliens. The action game would become sentient and would wage war against the narrator. We realized shortly after starting to build it that it was far too jokey and on the nose for the tone of the game. Plus, some people interpreted it as making fun of people who like shooters, which was not our intention. I don't think that would be the case, but okay. I don't think I ever knew that. From Anthony W. Subject: what is this strange number? Could you tell me what the significance of the number 111-2800 is? Well, asking the narrator, well, the thing I wanted to know is, what would you do if Stanley entered any other rooms? Okay. Narrator emails. After the second trailer we sent out, we asked people to email the narrator for questions. While we had initially planned to use these for further promotional materials, we never found the perfect use for them. Here are a selection of these emails. Okay. I don't really care that much about that. The lounge, an early version of the lounge. Wow, that's very boring. The apartment timer. In a previous version of the choice leading to the apartment ending, a timer would give you 15 seconds to pick up the phone. Not picking up the phone would lead to a different ending. Okay, I can't pick up the phone. The cargo lift. The second version is functionally the same as what's in the final game, but we wanted it to look more like a place where cargo was actually stored. The cargo lift. The cargo lift was always intended to offer the choice of staying on or jumping to a different path. However, after this early version, we decided we also wanted the option of the player falling to their death. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I might get that eventually. Escape menu. For a long time, we had an ending that only ended when the player restarted from the escape menu. Unfortunately, very few players realized this was what they were supposed to do, which was frustrating for everyone. Okay. Monitor room elevator. For a time, the elevator in the monitor room could go up or down with freedom above and countdown below. We abandoned this when players found it too difficult to remember what was up and what was down and placed the two endings together instead. Okay.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How
I'll
they
leave the
wish to
rest of that for
control
you to
one
read.
another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let...
No. Game crashes. It's like, thanks.